So I work at a resort, and I was working at one of the restaurants as a cashier, but I often volunteer everywhere I can try to get my foot in the door for better positions. One day I was helping with inventory work, so moving stuff all around, and I have a bit of an organized mess, making sure everything was 100%. Enter a Neckbeard team member, NB. He is a short, pudgy guy, kind of looks like a gremlin, super unkempt, the whole 9 yards. I never really pay no mind, after all, he's part of the utilities crew, either taking out trash or washing dishes. I happen to be in his way with my step stool and boxes of to-go boxes. NB. Excuse me, sir, may I come through? He always talks in some fake posh accent, I don't know why. Note, I am a trans woman deep into my transition, and a lot of people would never guess just by looking at me I was trans. I cringe at the fact that I was called sir for the first time in months, but I got out of his way and politely corrected him. He clearly did not hear me because he would continue to address me as sir every time he would try talking to me, and after like the 100th time, I put my foot down and told him if he wants to actually have a conversation or even ask how my day was, respect my pronouns, or if you do not want to call them by then, call me by my name and just do not talk to me. After that, I never saw him, and I kind of felt bad because he probably didn't know better, because I kind of tend to act like a bitch, but boy, I was wrong. After a month of trying to get a better position, I went from a cashier to a server at one of the more popular venues, which I was really excited for, mainly due to the much looser restrictions on the uniform. From skinny jeans to more flary makeup and piercings, making sure I'm at 120% killing it with my looks, cause I want to make some good tips. But with some cute gothy looks comes unwanted neckbeard attention. I ran into him again, only now it seems he's permanently washing dishes in my venue, and god damn it, he has 3 modes. Horrible singing, like, oh lord, shut the fuck up, man, you're killing my brain cells, trying to talk to me, or throwing a temper tantrum for all the dishes piled in front of him because he was busy doing the first 2 things. He would not shut up, and he would always try talking to me, and for once he got my pronouns right, and at first I did not mind. I was talking about my experience playing Borderlands 3, and he butts in with how much he loves the games too. Good for you, but I didn't ask you, I will just reply. After I exhausted that excuse, I would just ignore him and continue to take care of my guests, and he'll talk about things like his dumb theories on his favorite shows and games like Rick and Morty or Sonic. Even his fan fictions, which were either edgy or cringy or both. Then he'll try and tell me how pretty I am, and I would give him a cold dead stare and tell him to do his damn job. This will continue for months to the point I straight up avoid him. He tries sitting by me on my break and follow me to my car, and he cannot take a damn hint I want nothing to do with him. Then the ultimate cringe. I was heading back to work from break, and he was waiting for me by one of the hallway doors, and he opens for me and bows. NB, after you, milady. I legit never thought someone would do something so cringy to win my attention, but god damn, I felt like puking my lunch from how disgusted I felt. Like a part of me just died, and died again in hell. Like, I might sound like a bitch for not hearing his heart out, but he cannot take a hint. Damn. So I had to be blunt with him. Me. Can you not? You really creep me out, and you make me super uncomfortable if you could not tell. Please stop talking to me and stop following me. I'm not your friend or anything you think I am. Please leave me the fuck alone. Tried really hard to be nice. NB. Fine then, you cunt. I was trying to be nice. But I guess you trannies didn't really want true validation from real gentlemen and be treated like a proper lady. I was baffled and pissed at his response and just went back to work and ended up talking to my managers and then with his about the incident I had with the NB. And honestly, I love my workplace because they actually take my problems seriously. And he got written up, and the next day I saw him, he was throwing his tantrums and actually breaking dishes left and right, ranting about how much he hates his job and hates pompous bitches. Honestly, it was kind of funny to watch until he took the hose, running with hot chemicals and water, and sprays down his coworker after telling him to calm the fuck down. You can guess what happened to him afterwards. He was fired. A neckbeard and most likely an incel, maybe a chaser, but I'm glad I don't get to see him again. This story might be a little confusing and vague since it happened around my sophomore year of high school. I'm now a sophomore in college. Growing up, I never really thought of myself as attractive, even though I've been told otherwise and never been asked out or even had a boyfriend. Like almost every high school student, my confidence was at rock bottom and I really wanted a boyfriend, so when I found out that a group of friends who take earth science with me, that someone from the class was interested in me, I got excited. Turns out that the person who was interested in me was this junior who wore a ponytail, grew his beard out like an Amish man, and had a poor excuse of hygiene. I was not thrilled after finding out that I was told to never judge people until you know them, and decided to give them a shot. I confronted him about it and told him that if he wanted to go out with me, then he had to put in the effort to get to know me better. I also gave him my number so we could text. Things were fine at first. He seemed like a really decent guy. 2 weeks later, he asked if I wanted to ride home. At first, I was kind of nervous about it since my mom is very protective, but I did not want to ride the bus that day and accepted his offer. Huge mistake. This boy's car was not even a car. It was more like a shell of a car. It had no radio, no air conditioning, no airbags. The seat belts were hanging on for dear life because they were poorly installed. And he was installing them himself. The interior was missing, and the windows barely even worked. Now, this would not be a problem if we did not live in the desert, and that day was not nearing almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I was dripping in sweat and just wanted to go home. The whole ride, this guy kept giving me weird vibes and talked about how he wanted to take me out to dinner. I told him that I was not ready to go out on a date and that he'd need to meet my parents first for that. I was dropped off at home and decided to take a shower. By the time I got done, my mom came home and asked me about my day. I told her about how I got a ride home by this guy and that the guy was really interested in me, though I'm not that interested in him. My mom got into mama bear mode and asked if I was alright, if anything else happened, and that she did not want this kid taking me home again. I told her I was fine and that the kid kind of creeped me out. I was also relieved that she told me not to let this kid take me home again. Cut to the next day at school. I told the kid that my mom did not want him driving me home again and did not want him to date me unless she got to know him. The rest of the class, I ignored him. By the end of school, he texted me asking if he could meet my mom. I told him that both my mom and dad were very busy people. Every day he would text me asking if he could meet my parents or take me home. Each time I told him no, and that I would not know when he could meet them. He just would not stop. I told my parents that this kid would not leave me alone and would not stop texting me. My mom said just to tell him that my parents do not want him to meet him, and that if he kept bothering me, then he would have to talk to my father. So I did. I told him that I was not interested in him anymore, that my parents did not wish to meet him since he would not get over not being able to drive me home, and if he would not leave me be, then my father would have to talk to him. Dude freak out, saying that I was being completely unfair to him, that he has been nothing but a gentleman to me, that I'm obligated to go out with him, and if my father got involved, that he would not hesitate to bash his brains in with a bat. Self-defense, of course. My dad isn't the type of person to start a physical fight. I got scared. If this dude was willing to attack my father for preventing him from dating me, then what would he do to me? I showed my mom the things he texted me, and she told me to take it to my school and have a restraining order put in place. I did exactly that, and the kid was expelled for a few days. He was also forced to sit on the opposite side of the class from me, and if he even spoke to me, then he would be permanently expelled for breaking the order. I would see him around when I was in junior year. He would always stare at me and wave, but I would pretend I did not see him or just ignored him. I still didn't really feel safe till I heard that he was transferred mid-school year. After that, I didn't try to date at all in high school, and learned that I should not stoop that low to just date someone because they could be a psycho, and I also finally raised my confidence enough to believe that I deserve better, and that I am an attractive woman. Thanks for taking the time to read my story. Sorry if it was a little vague. Like I said, it was almost 5 years ago when this happened. I just hope that younger girls do not make the same mistake as me.